the safest bet, of course, is physical gold, holding the physical gold. It's a lot less liquid. In other words, it's kind of a pain to go get and then to turn it into cash if you need to use it for something. So think of that bet as one that you're going to purchase and you probably don't want to have to sell. This is going to be a generational wealth that you pass on to your children. It's a way to pass down wealth without having to lock it up in paper. Does that make sense? Because that paper is eventually going to go away. The gold has been there for 5,000 years. It's not going to. Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. I am back. Took a little time off, renovating a granny flat out back. I had my parents visiting, and we did a lot of work on that, working on my favorite asset class, cash flowing real estate. Okay, just got done with the Rule Symposium that was out in Boca Raton. I wasn't able to make it in person, but I did do the webinar. Probably the best $149 I've ever spent on an educational product. I'm going to summarize it for you guys here and some of my main takeaways. They talked surprisingly a lot about the Federal Reserve and their thoughts on it, and even had Danielle DiMartino Booth, who used to work for the Fed. It was pretty eye-opening. Some of the main takeaways from that, basically, and we've talked about this before, but this just really hammered it home, is that they're offering 3% on a 10-year Treasury. Inflation is north of 9%. If you go by John Williams at Shadow Stats, it's just shy of 20. So putting your money in a bond right now is going to lose you, by their own admission, 6%. Not a good deal. They basically said that there's nothing that they could do to stop inflation. This is going to keep coming. And then the rest of the symposium was them, a lot of them just talking about gold. They went through many times back in history where, as currency gets printed away, gold tends to follow that. So they were really big on gold, which made me feel a little bit better about my bet, kind of thinking maybe I need to bet a little bit more. But some of the main takeaways on the safest bet, of course, is physical gold, holding the physical gold. It's a lot less liquid. In other words, it's kind of a pain to go get and then to turn it into cash if you need to use it for something. So think of that bet as one that you're going to purchase and you probably don't want to have to sell. This is going to be a generational wealth that you pass on to your children. It's a way to pass down wealth without having to lock it up in paper. Does that make sense? Because that paper is eventually going to go away. The gold has been there for 5,000 years. It's not going to. So that was the safest bet. The next safest bet, I would say, and as far as really liquid, is probably something like the Sprott Physical Gold Trust. The ticker is PHYS. Again, not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is simply what I'm doing. Set it and forget it with the GDX. Some other bets that one of the speakers said this, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he said, if you look at the next 10 years and see what is happening with the currency and it's getting inflated away, then gold makes a lot of sense. Okay? It's worked in past history. It's worked through thousands of currencies that have gotten inflated away. This is nothing new that's happening right now with the currency and this inflation. It's just something new for our lifetime, right? One thing he said was, he said that of these companies, Barrick Gold, Agnico Eagle, Wheaton Precious Metals, Franco-Nevada, Pan American Silver, when hedge funds and the general populace understands what you and I do of what's happening with our currency, these companies are going to be the ones that move first. That was his first point. They will move first. And he said, number two, these are the more certain to move first. These are the ones that the hedge funds are going to get in. These are the safe bets, the biggest companies, ones that I personally own all of these. and make your own decision, but you can too. Another thing that they were talking about was uranium. Now, we've talked about uranium. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll take a look at the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Okay, so this is a way to physically buy uranium without losing your hair. You can see right here, their discount as of right now is almost 14% as of this recording. It's if you take their share price, which is $10.40 right now, and if you divide that up into how many shares they got and how many pounds of uranium, they're sitting at over 57 million pounds right now, it should cost $12.05. So it's almost a 14% discount. They got a handy little graph down here where you can see this yellow line is the net asset value. This is what it's actually selling for, right? No brainer. Okay, it should be $1. It's selling for 86 cents on the dollar. No brainer. Safest uranium bet because you're buying the physical metal. You're buying the physical yellow cake. Now, next up on that list, I would say is URNM. We've talked about this one before with Justin, and I will show you the graph here on URNM. Just take a look at this. Oh, sorry, that's the S&P 500. Okay, we can see this general trend line right here. You can see my bets are going in. The bigger bets, actually, these different color codes here just kind of mean something to me as far as which accounts they're going into. But take a look at that, just hitting right along the trend line. Look at where we are now. Just placed one yesterday. I actually think this could go lower. It could go around 55, maybe put a limit order at 56, 55, hope it hits. I think this is a fantastic bet. Take a look here. This is the S&P 500, okay? So if we look back over history here, all I'm saying is kind of sell towards this end of the graph. And now let's look over here at URA, buy towards this end of the graph, right? This just looks like it's going to be a parabolic U, and with all the fundamentals that we understand from Rick Rule and from Justin Hune, this just looks like a no-brainer, right? Sell up here. That's what these down arrows mean right here. I sold right after the COVID came out, and then I bought back in on the dip, and then I sold right around here. Probably missed a 10 or 20% move there. I don't know what that was, but whatever. This looks like a pretty good time to sell the S&P 500. It's now starting this downward channel right here. We're kind of catching it up towards the top of it. I expect this to continue to go down, and I expect these to generally continue up, okay? So uranium, safest bet, SPUT, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. After that, I would do URNM. They pay a little dividend. It's great. They have a lot of the good companies that if you want to get into the weeds there, I already have shares in those, but this is kind of a real easy way to play the whole sector, and you only got to buy one. It's available on almost every single platform, right? But once you start getting into Denison Mines and the SPUT and like that, you may have to find a different brokerage account to be able to do it. If this interests you guys, let me know. I've been doing portfolio reviews now for a long time for guys, and they were telling me, they're like, you should filter this into your business and start charging for it. So if you guys want me to look over your portfolio, go to stevebartonmoney.com. You can email me stevebartonmoney@gmail.com. We can screen share, and I'll set you up with the same stuff I got. I think we are going to make a boatload of money in the next decade, and this is going to be an amazing wealth transfer. We just have to position ourselves for it, and you got to do it now. You really do. You can't just hope that the market is going to correct itself, because according to these great speakers and the ones I listened to from this symposium, it was probably over 40 hours of content. That's not going to happen. You have to be an active investor. You can't do this set it and forget it like has worked for the last 12 years. That time is changing. Okay? If it ain't me, talk to somebody. Talk to a financial advisor that you're comfortable with and that understands this. And I would suggest, if you ask them about gold and they sound confused or that it's a bad bet, probably go with a different one. All right. I've got 10% of my net worth in physical, I'm sorry, not physical, but in precious metals between stock bets and the physical form. Um, I, I feel pretty comfortable with that. Okay, I'm gonna be going down to Nicaragua soon. My buddy bought some real estate down there. I'm gonna go look at some real estate, so I'll take my computer with me so I can do an episode down there. You guys have a great rest of the week. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.